What happened to Streamlabs OBS? I mean, what did Streamlabs do, or allegedly do? Is there a scandal, and should we as streamers still be using Streamlabs products? In this video, we're going to be talking about Streamlabs scandal and controversy. Do you use Streamlabs? Let us know inside the comments.
But make sure you stay tuned towards the end of the video to find out more information on a product we love to use, which is called Restream.io.
No controversy there, baby. None. And not even joking on that one. I almost feel like sometimes whenever I get ready to like hand off to you, like, take it away, Walt. Let's do this.
Take it away, brother.
So Streamlabs is live streaming open source software built off of OBS, which is another live streaming open source software, meaning that it's free software for everyone to use. Of course, there's a little bit of an asterisk next to Streamlabs OBS. Have we used Streamlabs, and why? Well, yes, and Streamlabs is more beginner-friendly for live streaming. Streamlabs was always a one-stop shop and could also be used as a gateway before jumping into OBS because there's a steep learning curve with OBS. Isn't that right, Walt?
Yeah, but here's the thing. so this is kind of old news, but it's kind of, we're rehashing it as new news because the thing is we're going to look at what we're going to do with Streamlabs moving forward, as many other live streamers have done so already. And the thing is allegedly Streamlabs has been caught being some naughty players in business when it comes to the live streaming world. Before we get into what they did, let's see where they started at, or where they started from. And that was Streamlabs was previously known as Streamlabs OBS, as you see in our title, because technically they are now considered Streamlabs, no more OBS, or as we also known in the live streaming world, slobs. That's right. Although I think they really hated that. I think they tweeted out some things where but then I think they started playing into it. But regardless, Streamlabs dropped OBS from their name, but why?
Oh man, that's a great question. And here's the thing. And I thought we had the screen, so the pictures aren't going to be come up. We're going to get over here, folks. First, OBS Project was asked by Streamlabs if they may use the OBS name before they launched, and OBS Project requested they do not. But Streamlabs went ahead anyways. They were kind of like, what are you going to do? And Streamlabs not only was using the OBS name, but here's the kicker. They allegedly tried to trademark the OBS name. Kind of a dick move if they really did do that. So OBS actually. Project was not pleased, of course. I mean, who would be? And have been fighting behind the scenes with them. And it's been an uphill battle with Streamlabs with this whole situation. It's quite the debacle.
And the other thing, Dale, is I like to add on to that is the second theory of the OBS dropping from the name of Streamlabs is because they got a lot of heat from big name influencers and live streamers. We're talking about some of the big top dogs. Matter of fact, Pokimane, as many of y'all know, her face is actually on the Streamlabs landing page, I do believe. And she basically put out a tweet saying, hey, fix this. You better tidy up some stuff there on the business end, or you're removing my face and likeness from your product. So it wasn't not necessarily to be joked around about. So I think, you know, and I would hope that what Dale said at the first part, which was, you know, OBS Project asking them, you know, and a little tug of war going on behind the scenes, and they just finally resolved it. But I almost have a feeling with the second theory, Dale, I really think that when it push comes to shove, it all comes down to the fact that who uses the product. It's live streamers and influencers. And if they're not there to push that product to other people, new live streamers or new influencers, you know, that's going to be a nail in the coffin. So I feel that this was a smart move on Streamlabs to go ahead and drop the OBS, but I feel also it's a little too late. Don't you think the damage is already done? And here's the big one. Stealing somebody else's IP. You know, we'll talk about that here in a minute when it comes to, because technically is OBS Project somebody's actual IP. It is open source, and so is Streamlabs OBS, you know, for argument's sake. But the thing is they get really nasty when it comes into taking or allegedly taking somebody else's IP. Hey, Dale, didn't we talk about a Twitch recommended tool called Lightstream a few live streams ago?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Lightstream allowed console streamers to customize their stream via a mobile device or just something like that. And just, hey, by the way, I'm a pro, dude. I'm a pro because guess what? We've got the screen share back, baby. So Lightstream called out Streamlabs over copying their homework. Now you're probably saying like copying homework. Yeah, they were like lifting like images and text and like not even trying to cover up the fact. It was like, oh my gosh. And once we're done kind of talking about this, I'm going to kind of give you my speculations based on my business experiences, because I've seen this in all walks of business. But when people get caught, oh, there's some reckoning, because a lot of people don't like it, that kind of shady practice. So not only was Streamlabs accused of stealing Lightstream's software concept, which can always be debated because much larger companies do this on a daily basis. Think of the automotive industry. But Streamlabs was so lazy about it, they pretty much copied Lightstream's website almost verbatim. This is absolutely insane. So here's
format. I mean, they just changed a few of the words.
Yeah, it's absolutely ludicrous. So let me go back from the original image and over into the new image here, and you see what are you doing with yourselves, Streamlabs? I mean, so Walt, continue on.
Okay, so Streamlabs came out with a weak statement saying it was just a placeholder and it wasn't meant to be the final landing page. Okay, that's fine, but you got caught red-handed. they're like, hey, what would a good landing page look like? Oh yeah, Lightstreams, the same people that we took the concept from. Okay, yeah. Oh, go ahead and kind of copy it. We'll tweak it later. You know, and I think it went live. And who knows? It might have been somebody working from the behind the scenes. Somebody who does websites. Regardless, though, they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. It's pretty embarrassing. It's almost like when you catch somebody picking their nose, and you're like, "Hey, are you digging your nose?" And they're like, "Hey, no. I'm only itching it.
Right.
So we know, once again, like I say, this might be some old news from some of you, as it's old news for us as well. And we have been sitting on this one because we really didn't know how to feel about Streamlabs, as we both have used them for years now.
Yeah. It's really hard because we did have a bit of loyalty to them. And to a certain extent, we wanted to kind of hear them out and just kind of see how things play out. But, Walt started out using them just for his alerts and tips back when he started streaming with OBS, and it turned me towards that direction. So we always understood the microtransactions, and even when they switched to the monthly Streamlabs Prime, that's just business at the end of the day. But when you start stealing from the little guys and even the big guys, yeah, we're talking about Elgato, it's just bad business overall.
Okay, so Dale, this comes down to the $1 million question, and this goes for you as the viewers as well. And that is, will we continue to use Streamlabs or give them a try after all this? I mean, really? So here's my opinion. Let me go ahead and state my opinion first on this. Like Dale said, I've used Streamlabs back before they were even doing the whole big slobs move and this and that. And, I liked it because the fact that it was, when I was using OBS Classic and then using OBS Studio and kind of dove into the Streamlabs, I liked how they really cleaned it up and made it user-friendly. It was very user-friendly, and it was great for beginners. So anyone that Dale was tossing to me and saying, hey, help them out with live stream, I would always tell them to switch to Streamlabs. So me personally, I don't need to use Streamlabs because the fact that I know how to use OBS Studio. But you, as say a new streamer, it wouldn't hurt. Now, I'm not going to tell you don't give them your hard-earned money, this and that, because Lord knows I've tossed a few bucks at them as well throughout the years. But I can just say, as a live streamer who's been streaming for years now, that I really don't need them.
Yeah, I can weigh in on the same thing as well. Love me some OBS. More recently, I was using Streamlabs to record some of my videos, and unfortunately, it's going to be coming out on the channel here relatively soon, where we do the 7 budget-friendly USB microphones. For some reason or another, the intro ended up being a little grainy and pixelated, and I don't know what happened. Like, it literally just like pooped on itself. I went into the settings, everything looked fine. I go into OBS, it captured just fine. Like, so for whatever reason, I think at this point, I've matured enough and I've been in this space long enough. I feel pretty confident about OBS. Hey, speaking of business, we know a great business that we can stand behind. Take it away, Walt.
That's right. As you know, we love us some Restream.io. And you're probably asking yourself, what is Restream? Restream allows us to stream to many different platforms such as Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth. I mean, there's so many that I really don't have time to talk about them because Dale will be poking me with the bear stick. But here's the thing. It's free to try out. And matter of fact, you could use it for free for eons to come until they change their mind on doing so. Now, here's the kicker. When you use it the first time for your very first live stream, you automatically earn $10 of credit to use towards any of their upgrades. Because that's right, the upgrades, you know, they're gonna get their money, you know. And hey, I'm gonna tell you what, it's dollars well spent. So definitely give them a try. Go to livestreamingtech.com/restream and you'll be supporting the channel. Hey, Dale, we have Desiree over in the chat there. Let's see what Desiree has to say.
Desiree says, when I first started Slobs, I liked it, but I once found out about their BS. I switched to OBS. I can't say I blame you, Desiree. This is why I felt so conflicted when the information had broke. And yeah, I honestly was only using Streamlabs. I wasn't even using it for streaming. I was using it for recording. But now that it's kind of having glitches and issues, I'm just gonna, you know, I have a different scene selection that I do for my recording in OBS. So
I wonder if that uninstall button works, Dale. Should we do a video on it? I agree with you, Dale, though.
Yeah.
I will probably use it like as a backup because here's the thing, and I don't want people to sit there and misconstrue. When I say that, I probably will never use it for live streaming. I'm not going to uninstall it. I will probably keep it up to date. I'm going to keep it on my PC because you never know. You know how it goes in live streaming.
Oh, yeah.
You think you're good to go. You think everything's set, and then something shits the bed. And I always want to have a backup. I want to have a backup program until we really dive back into XSplit, you know, because I'm really kind of wanting to get back in there and see what they've done since last time it was tossed our way and we got to play with it. But until we get like another secondary live streaming tool or app, I'm pretty much going to have to keep it on my desktop, unfortunately.
That's not a bad plan. If you happen to be watching this, you got questions, concerns, comments about live streaming, of course, tap into us while you can, and we're going to hang out here for about another few minutes. If for some reason there's not, we'll go ahead and bounce. I want to kind of circle back around to something, and I want to share just a story with you, Walt, because obviously I've been in this whole online business world since 2014, and I have to say that there's a certain level of me, and please, folks, don't cancel me. Hear me out. Okay, I just have to put context to this. I was doing similar practices, but it's not saying that I was plagiarizing books or anything else like that. When I was putting out courses or I was doing landing pages for, say, email marketing and such, I would go and look at the brands and the companies that were crushing it. And I would take a screen grab of that type of stuff. But I was at least smart enough that I would change the text and I would have different images. You know, you don't want to literally plagiarize those type of things. But I started to think here, and I put myself into the shoes of Streamlabs. And obviously, they're a larger company. I don't know how many employees they have, but now that they're owned by Logitech, I'm going to assume it's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of workers. So someone probably was in charge of site development. And probably in their defense, they were probably uploading it to draft. And for whatever reason, they might have hit publish. So I have a feeling either someone's on double secret probation or they don't have a job at all. Like,
yeah, they got fired.
It was a bad PR move.
Yeah.
It is so simple to do something like that, honestly.
So here's the thing. That's a good theory. And that was my theory initially too, as well. But do you know that they have their reviews of people who use the product were actually stolen for live stream as well?
Yeah, I noticed that too. And it gets to the point, like, that's where I can't get them on that, where it's just like, if you've got reviews, just use legit reviews.
Yeah. I understand you may be kind of heavily borrowing the format of the landing page and heavily borrowing the actual, software. But when you're snatching screenshots of the actual reviews and throwing them on that, practice.
Not a good play. And here's the
point?
crazy thing is Streamlabs has got enough advocates out there. I mean, we've spoken highly of them in the past. So I think it's rather egregious that they wouldn't at least put in their own dang, reviews, for crying out loud. Like, good Lord. El Justino says, wait, what happened? You missed it? We had a couple of chimpanzee strippers come in. They lit my hair on fire. I had long flowing locks before this, and it was all off the hook. And then we started talking about Streamlabs and their controversy back last year. And, it's I think Walt actually, and sorry, El Justino, I'm sorry, I'm just having a little bit of fun. We're just starting to wrap things up. Essentially, we're discussing the whole Streamlabs controversy and such. And I see the mistakes happening. I understand that, but I think when you get to that level, you've scaled your business up that high. You shouldn't be making mistakes like that. There was a breakdown in communication or a breakdown in the management chain. In other words, someone probably at a higher level was just like, hey, thumbs up. Because, I'll share with you on my business end of things. Ava Fails helps out, and she's my main assistant. She manages my website. She manages my email marketing. She manages my YouTube comments. She manages my scheduling and my metadata and all that type of stuff. I've gotten to the point that I trust Ava, and I know she's not going to go and just plagiarize stuff and put it on there. Now, that's because I've worked with her for about 6 years. Now, let's go over to someone like, say, Ina, who just started working with my team about a month and a half ago.
Got to keep a slighter tight leash.
Yeah. So in other words, I'm not going to just go, hey, go ahead and publish this type stuff without at least looking at it. Dan's another great example. My video editor on Self-Publishing with Dale. I've been working with him for over 2 years now, and I trust him.
Yeah, and I think actually I did that initially when we started the website, the livestreamandtech.com. I would actually, before I'd post those articles, I would send them to you to have you review them to make sure, and I remember, and eventually I think what was like a year into, you're like, stop wasting my time, bro. I trust you. Just do it.
Yeah.
But no, and that's the thing. So, that I can understand the website thing, the landing page thing. I mean, like I said, it kind of makes sense, I guess, their excuse where they were like, hey, we were just using it as a placeholder, this and that. Okay, let's buy into it. Let's buy into that. But what about the software? The software is like, and they've done this also too, allegedly. But allegedly, so we don't want to be sued. Yeah. Allegedly. Where even Elgato's called them out because they used the word Stream Deck in their phone app where you can control.
Oh, they did.
Streamlabs OBS. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Because we were going to do a video on it, and you were like, it says Stream Deck. I could control it with the stream. I was like, no, it's a phone app. But they literally, it's like, what, you couldn't come up with something? Like, change the word, go stream, call it Stream Phone, Stream
Pad.
Stream Pad. I mean,
Stream
is
thingy.
it that hard? Is it that hard to drop the name? I mean, obviously they came up with a different name instead of saying, Streamlabs Lightstream or what I'm saying. I mean, they obviously changed that. They went that far to change that name. I mean, what are they doing? Are they all, sitting around the office wondering, when they're going to get their next latte and, what they're going to be eating for lunch? I mean, come on, man. Come on.
They're going to file that next TPS report.
Yeah. It almost, I mean, you can go back, any of our viewers, you can go back and you could see Dale and I've done plenty of videos using Streamlabs OBS, and we touted that, what we liked about it, what we disliked about it. And unfortunately, all the pros outweighed some of the cons that we ran into with it. But now it's just like, you almost feel betrayed. You really do. You almost feel betrayed about it. Not that we've ever received money from, Streamlabs or whatever. We have never had anything.
Sort of, but not really. We did have the sponsorship with Melon, but Melon's separate from
Melon
Streamlabs.
is actually owned by Logitech, and this Logitech happens to own, Streamlabs. So I think they're separate identities.
I think there was underlying problems before Logitech even picked up Streamlabs. I don't think that Logitech.
Oh, no. Yeah. Because this, like I said, this was prior to launch that Streamlabs hit up OBS project and said, hey, can we use OBS in our name? And they were like, we prefer you don't. So this was prior to Streamlabs launching the slobs.
Yeah.
So this was well prior to Logitech. And it might be one of those things too where we've complained about Twitch. A lot of people have complained about Twitch. Who owns Twitch? Amazon. And you and I are always like, come on, Amazon, crack down on that crap. because we do. We feel loyal to the brand of Amazon. We also feel loyal to Twitch. And when you see one kind of start to screw up, you're like, hey, don't you guys oversee them? Don't you? Oh, you just own them. You're just taking profit from them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't care if I was owning several different companies or whatever and stuff. I would either be paying somebody to keep a close eye on them, or I'd be keeping a close eye on them to put out those fires as they pop up.
Hey, folks, of course, if you missed most of this broadcast, make sure that you go back and watch it. You're watching it on the replay. Thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. We're going to try our best to go ahead and edit these things within the next 24 hours. You know how YouTube goes. You just got to kind of give it a little bit of time, and we'll make sure we get it down to the actual need-to-know information. Hey, make sure that you continue to subscribe to us, hit the like button, and then tune in this next week on Friday. We're actually going to learn how to live stream for the first time. All right, so anybody out there for the first time ever, you want to go ahead and look at it, we're going to be doing that. That'll be next Friday. And in the meantime, folks, it has been a pleasure being able to chat with you about Streamlabs. We're going to keep you abreast about any kind of updates or information that might kind of roll out. Make sure you stay tuned to this channel. In the meantime, hey, click on Walt's face. There is a fantastic video over there. And on my face, you can hit subscribe. We will see you guys next week.